Hi, my name is Cheryl Camadeo, and I just wanted to take a moment actually to start a live because I wanted to talk about emotional intimacy when you have a partner that has experienced betrayal trauma. If your partner is, coping with the fact that you have cheated or that you have a sex or porn addiction, it has a very negative impact on a woman when she experiences that. And a lot of times, when you're in the middle of taking care of your addiction, you don't realize that your partner is also suffering, and it actually, um, is comparable and actually is considered post traumatic stress for a female based on the symptoms that they might be experiencing. One of the things that um, was a common theme this weekend in some of my groups had to do with the fact that a lot of men would prefer if there was some kind of guidelines for how things get accomplished. They feel like they really can't ever seem to hit the mark, and so I kind of titled that "He would like the check mark list, please." And when I talked with the women, the partners, they express their concerns about having to spoon feed or ask for what they need. And so, in general, we just had good conversations about ways to open up and about ways to let your person that's struggling with their problematic behavior, how to let them know what it is that you need, and to look at ways to remain calm while you're watching things unfold. This is kind of complicated the way I'm talking about this, but basically, you have a man, he's cheated, um, he's having an affair, he's going to men's clubs, he's using massage parlors, whatever. You have this man, and then you have discovery day, and then you have a woman who is being impacted by her partner's behavior. She's finally figured it out, and on that day, it's called D Day, Discovery Day. So, one of the things I wanted to remind people is that as you're going through treatment, as you're going through counseling, I have some of my clients who are in the one year phase, the 1 month phase, 6 months along, and they're struggling because they're getting into these conflicts where they're being told, you should know what I want from you, I shouldn't have to tell you. And for the men, it's very confusing. They don't know exactly what they should say, and when they do try to say, I don't know what to say, then it just escalates from there. And so I really work individually and I work in group to try to get you know to get a discussion going and to try to help coach the kind of language that's being requested, but more than just the language, understanding the underlying needs from you as a male partner. So it could be things as simple as being extra supportive, acknowledging that you've caused pain. I have some other notes here. Okay. So, in order for emotional intimacy to take place, it actually does require both parties to be actively engaged in growing. And so, if it's just one person that's wanting to change and grow, and the other person isn't wanting to change and grow, emotional intimacy is not going to be there. Cheating blocks any buildings to connection. So, when you were supposed to be in a relationship and you were dividing your attention amongst your other activities, you were actually denying your partner of your time and attention, which is something that you had made a commitment to do. Um, some other things that that I was able to take apart during my research this morning is that um, when there was cheating involved, there was the need for, or there was an understanding that you as a partner had your wife or girlfriend's back. And when there's been a falsehood, a lie, you know, outright denials about things that are actually happening, it basically, emphasizes the fact that you don't have her back. Um, and so then she walks around questioning everything that you do, and she walks around magnifying everything that you're um, saying, and she's reading you. She's reading you from top to bottom, and you have no idea how much detail she's picking up on. It could be anything as simple as a frown in your forehead, a raise of an eyebrow, a squint of an eye. It could be, your cheeks kind of getting tight. It could be, that you lift up your head a little bit. It could be that, your shoulders start to, move up. Your rate of breathing is a tell for a wife or a girlfriend. If you're moving your fingers next to you when you weren't moving your fingers prior to the discussion that's causing the discomfort, those kinds of things are tells. Changing color in your face, changing rate of breathing. I think I said that already, but tapping your foot, bowing your head. Um, moving your hands to your face when that only shows up when you're nervous or you're anxious. So it's really important for you to be aware that you're communicating. I think one of the things that was a good example was his partner was labeling what she thought he was feeling. So she was saying, "You're angry." And he got really upset because he wasn't angry. He was just, just listening and trying to understand. And, he wanted to deny something, and she labeled it as "you're angry." And so we talked about the importance of him reshaping his language. Instead of saying, "I'm not angry," the response should have been something along the lines of, um, "I am not angry, but if you would just check with me, I would let you know my whole goal is to be as open and honest with you as I can be." And so we worked on practicing that because it's the same thing that he's saying, only he's speaking from a man's brain. And, I'm giving him the information that will help her woman's brain um, understand that he's actually got it. So, and I work with women on the other side. I help them understand as well that, you know, things are pretty concrete, and, they just want to be able to check the box and say, I did it, I've accomplished, and now things are better. And that's not necessarily such a bad thing, but it does require that there's feedback coming back and forth. And for the male, the husband, or the boyfriend, um, it just becomes a source of stress. And then when you have a source of stress, you end up with a shame and guilt spiral that happens. And when you have the shame and guilt spiral, then you have a shutdown, frozen face, no expression, no eye contact, maybe, kind of in your own head and not really connecting with your partner. So, those are just a few of the things that I was observing today regarding emotional intimacy. I'm not exactly sure that I gave enough information about that, but a large, I think the best one there, as far as you know, information, is just that you have her back. And ladies, for you, the important part is that you need to hear that from them, and you need to um, continue to have these conversations and to express yourself, whether it's in a, whether it's a negative comment or not. It's up to you to share that, and then he needs to interpret it. And if he's not able to explain himself, if he's not able to give you the information or the answer, allow there to be a break. And when y'all are calmer, come back and have a conversation and say, "All I was asking for was this piece of information," or "All I wanted you to know is that you were staring or gawking, and the only answer I needed back was, I didn't know that," or "Well, I didn't think I was." So just a response that would make you feel better. Um, Rather than receiving either, agitated, aggravated, irritated response, or a no response at all. Because then you have to kind of fill in the blanks and say, "Oh, it must have been exactly that, and it could have been much worse." So anyway, I have this mission. I really want to help couples stay together if they want to stay together. And I really want to help people heal when there's been complications in their relationship. So whether you stay together or you end up separating or divorcing, there still needs to be some way to grow from this situation. And so I want to encourage people to seek out any kind of help that they can, watching podcasts, going online, joining groups. There's all kinds of support groups for women. Um, Essanon is a good one. There's some other ones out there. I think Celebrate Recovery sometimes has groups. Some of our local churches here in San Antonio also have support groups for women. And there's also a lot of groups out there for men in the various churches because it's become an area that most churches want to deal with. They don't want to see this problem expanding, and they want to just be able to communicate the importance of being committed to to a clean lifestyle. So join me on my mission. If you have any questions, please reach out and ask me any questions you might have. Thank you. Bye.